Good evening, everyone. Mazi Ezeife speaking to us this evening, Thursday, the 3rd of June, 2021. I hope you are all doing well. Sorry, I was in a different meeting, hence I couldn't come on at the time I was supposed to. I say, pardon me that. We say in Igbo, "Akpọ nkịta oku nri na-abọ, ọma ọnụ n'ala." The other meeting that I joined was also a crucial meeting that has to do with the progress of the great Igbo nation. So my attention was needed there. And I had to join just to ensure that things work out properly. Now, here I am. What I'm going to do this evening is to endeavor to make the presentations this evening as quick as I can. Now, if you're new to this platform and you haven't subscribed here, may I use the opportunity to beg you to please click the subscribe button, the notification button, and at the same time share this video, like the video, and we can then roll. Once more, welcome. Okay, here we are. We are back. Some people are saying we are back again. Of course, we are back and we must continue talking. I think this is going to be the third day I'm going to be speaking about this tweet from the president. I think there is some there were some deliberate plan to twist the whole issue. And yesterday, many of you who joined me when I had here Dele Mamodu and Dr. Sam Amadi, two eminent and two intellectual giants that were able to dissect the issue at play. And I was happy I did, and eventually I reached out to the third person that was supposed to have joined them, that is Adamu Gaba. He said something cropped up, and, I would see when I can reschedule him because there are still salient points. I keep reading his tweets. There are still salient points that I would want to, I wouldn't want to engage him on tweets. Rather, I would want to bring him here. And for some of you who are watching me now and you are not already following me on Twitter, can you kindly do so? My Twitter handle is at Mazi At Mazi Mazi with double A, not with single A. See, there is a difference. When we want to write it, we'll write it properly. So let me quickly get to the meat of this matter. So, I don't know many of you if you have seen it. Pa Ayo Adebanjo was asked what he thought about what Buhari said in that tweet. Now, I put this disclaimer. For those of you who have come online, or who have come inbox to me to tell me that, yeah, the president didn't mean that, he didn't mean the other one. Listen, the president had 4 tweets. No one had issue with one where he called out the people that were burning INEC offices. Honestly, anyone who engages in criminality, I don't defend criminality, and we don't. So deal with them. That's your job. Anyone who engages in kidnapping, banditry, burning arsonis, deal with them. But everyone began being concerned the moment the whole thing moved away from the realm.
Those of us in the fields for 30 months who went through.
So, the moment the whole narrative moved away from what it ought to be regarding security, and they moved into the narrative of killing or rather treating people the way you treated them during the Civil War. And one thing that will come to people's mind is when you make that assertion, or rather you make that comparison, or rather you engage in the comparative analysis of civil war and what is happening now. Yes, there are, in the fringes, there are insecurity everywhere. And it must be noted also, while I do not condone and I do not defend the burning of INEC offices or any federal property in the Southeast, while I do not condone that, it must also be said that Southeast is not the only region where these things are being destroyed. So let's not, put these things all together to appear as if we have committed a crime that no other person ever committed. Not to say that we are contesting and who commits more crime than the other. No. That is not the case here. It appears my internet is freezing again. Okay. So let's see. Not many people are joining me. Okay, but I think, yeah, Maz is always late. Somebody's saying that I'm always late. I'm sorry. If you're in my shoes, you actually will cancel the broadcast entirely because I've been in a different meeting. Tomorrow again, I was supposed to broadcast 6 o'clock or 7. Actually, my Friday hangouts is normally 6 o'clock, but I have a virtual condolence that I need to attend. So therefore, I need to make out time. So before I do, let me quickly continue. So listen to what Pa Ayo Adebanjo said. I have interviewed Pa Ayo Adebanjo a couple of times on this platform, but let us actually listen to what he said to Sheun Okimbaloye yesterday.
To the war, we treat them in the language they understand. We are going to be very hard sooner than later. End of quote. Chief Adebanjo, what's your view on that?
It's a very unfortunate statement from the president of a democratic country. I was very sad when I heard it. When I was informed, I thought it couldn't be. But I am not surprised. It is those of you who voted for Buhari in 2015 that should be amazed. I warned you then that this man is a dictator. He is born a feudalist, he is trained as a dictator, and he has no respect for the rule of law. My dear, let us all realize the fact that the problem in this country today against unity and peace is President Buhari. He is not on the same place with those of us looking for the unity and peace of this country. Take for instance, all those who voted for him, he stated in that statement that he told the 36 states. Did he tell the 36 states to say that he's going to oppress them? Did he tell the 36 states promising them that there's going to be diversion in the rule of law, in the administration of the country? In the north, the insurgency and the insecurity is so vast. In Kaduna, in Zamfara, in Sokoto, in Katsina is no state. He has not arrested or blindfolded the emir of those places. But I just received a video about 10 minutes ago where he blindfolded a natural ruler in Ogoni, in natural regalia. Two standards of ruling in this country by the president who says he loves the country.
Okay, so obviously, Paaya Debanjo alluded to a fact. I don't know if many of you have seen that video, where the video of a traditional ruler in Ogoni State being blindfolded. So what Paaya Debanjo is saying here is, we have never heard that anywhere in the north that an emir has been blindfolded because he, he, or rather kidnapping or any form of violence was occurring or did occur in their domain. But here we are, in the words of Paya Debanjo, that he promised Nigerians that he was going to be civil. Paya Debanjo here accusing him that he is not a Democrat. I mean, these are not my words, these are the words of
in the national regalia. Two standards of ruling in this country by the president who said he loves the country. And each time, those who love the country tell the please, there's a solution to this problem. Do this. He pretends not to listen.
Yeah.
The one he wants to listen to are the youth of the country who are tired of the deceit. That is our problem. So any language you are using, you are just deceiving yourself. And particularly you, president, don't allow him to change the narrative. He's talking of the unity he's going to teach them. Can a democratic government president be talking of teaching his subjects who voted him into power, that's going to teach them the lesson that the practice during the war? We are in peace time. What reconciliation statement has emerged from him? And when I say this man has a private agenda, and the agenda is to wipe out those of us who are not full of this, what is he doing? He's killing everybody.
So these are the words of Ayo Adebanjo. I mean, you can see that. You can see that Paya Adebanjo is not having it. So what I'm trying to do is to get so many people, if possible, to see various, to sample opinions, to see what people are actually thinking regarding this. Yesterday, like I said at the beginning, I had two gentlemen here who actually were vehemently opposed to the way and manner that the president actually spoke about that. Okay, so now I think Arise this morning also spoke to the former governor of Anambra State, that is in the person of Chief Dr. Chukwuemeka Ezeife, the one called Okwadike Ibuku. I would play, before I come to his own video, I'll play a conversation also that happened today with the Arise team and so that we understand their viewpoint. Then I'll get Okwadike, then conclude with Engineer Abaribe. His is a little bit longer. The interview that he granted also this morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. So let me quickly bring in the Arise team here. So the Arise team, are you ready?
British monarch to celebrate for wearing tie.
Are you ready? Okay.
Achievement award.
Hold on. I think. Okay, hold on.
Rufai.
Came insurrection.
Okay.
In Nigeria, with reactions to microblogging platform Twitter deleting President Muhammadu Buhari's tweet on Wednesday, in which he issued threats to troublemakers in the country while referencing the Nigerian civil war. While many Nigerians lauded the move, the Minister for Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, accused the blogging platform of double standards and described their presence in the country as suspicious. Let's take a look.
The mission of Twitter in Nigeria is very, very suspect. As Twitter deleted the violent tweets that Nnamdi Kanu has been sending, has it? The same Twitter, during the NSAS program, that was funding NSAS protesters,
Queen, I hail
for the
you.
first
Queen Vlog, I hail you.
to withdraw, to close the account of former president of US, Trump. And you see, when people were burning police stations and killing policemen in Nigeria during NSAS, for Twitter, it was about the right to protest. But when a similar thing happened on the Capitol, it became insurrection. You see, we are not going to be fooled by anybody. We have a country to rule, and we'll do so to the best of our ability.
He's still saying it. We have a country to rule, Mr. Information Minister. This is 21st century. You govern countries. You do not rule countries, okay? I don't know, these are things that you should be understanding because you're still stuck in the old ways of doing things.
Twitter's mission in Nigeria, citing those two examples, is very suspect. What is the agenda?
Rufai, what is Twitter's agenda? This is from the minister.
Oji, if you ask me now, who I go ask? Truth has to be said.
Yeah.
You see, this is a point in time where we need to de-escalate things. And I'm not happy with what the minister has said.
Exactly.
Because it's so easy for the minister to say Twitter has an agenda in Nigeria. What's the agenda? But this was the same minister that when Twitter went to Ghana, he said that's what Nigerians get for demarketing their country on Twitter. So all of a sudden, now he says Twitter has an agenda. Secondly, he said Nigerians were demarketing their country on Twitter. This is not the way forward.
Exactly.
A point in time like this in a nation, we should look for remedy to douse the tension. And please, I want people watching us to go and Google Nelson Mandela's speech after the death of Chris Hani. What the president said, let's call it spade a spade. It's not what should be said by the father of a nation at a time like this. Let's not deceive ourselves. Let's go and Google what Nelson Mandela said after Chris Hani died. When Chris Hani died in 1993, that event could have thrown South Africa into a civil war. But Mandela kept on saying that we South Africans need to come together despite the hurts. At a time like this, in a nation like this, where we know that there are discordant views, people are hurt, people are being killed, this is not the time to say that. As a president, you can say we'll deal decisively with criminals in general. You could have mentioned them.
Exactly.
We will make sure that peace returns to the Southeast. But not saying that we'll treat them in a language you understand, that you make reference to the Civil War. The Civil War is not a good thing that happened in this country. Nobody enjoys it when they remember it. In fact, when we remember the Civil War, we say this shouldn't have happened in the first place. So please, leaders, this is the time to calm things down. Tell Nigerians that they're united, that they are one. This is not the time to bring discordant tools among Nigerians. This is not the time to fight Twitter. If the minister feels angry about what Twitter, he can go and appeal.
You know, there's another slant to this. We'll take a tweet from Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, who wrote, we urge President Muhammadu Buhari to caution Mr. Lai Mohammed for reportedly accusing Twitter of double standards over reported deletion of the president's tweets. Will sue the Nigerian government if it uses the deletion as a pretext to restrict Nigerians' access to Twitter in the country. Do you see the possibility of that in any way?
It's entirely possible, but that would be highly regrettable. It would be such a shameful, disgraceful thing to do. So I really hope that that was not even in the contemplation of the minister when he was talking. I hope that his comments were restricted to this issue alone and that none of those plans are afoot. This is not Myanmar. I'm sorry. That cannot even happen. But I want to just comment on what Alhaji Lai Mohammed said in the soundbite that you shared about Twitter having a particular agenda with Nigeria. No, because Twitter has deleted tweets from, COVID sort of the infodemic, anti-mass propaganda, your tweet will be deleted. Anti-vaccine propaganda, your tweet will be deleted. Festus Keyamo had that happen to him when he posted screenshots, for example. Those were deleted. So it's not anything exclusive to the...
Remember, for those of you who do not know the screenshots they were talking about, the screenshot of when Festus Keyamo posted a private conversation he had with the musician Idris Abukade, the guy that sang Nigeria Jaga Jaga, everything scatter, scatter, one man this so far, gunshot in the air, buza. So when politicians, that's why you got to be very careful how you deal with them. This guy was broke at some point. He asked Festus Keyamo to lend him some money and if he could sing a promo song for them. But sadly, you can see how adults behave. At some point, he used those tweets in order to blackmail him. And Twitter deleted it. And that's the power. You watching me now, that is the power of the internet. And this is going to teach them something. Any other time that the president does something like that, if you don't like it, all you need to do is report to Twitter. If a number of people report something to Twitter, they at least, you cannot be guaranteed that they will delete it, but what they can do is to look at it if it goes against their community guidelines, and in this case, it is clearly against their community guidelines. That's
Nigerian government.
You left out very important Donald Trump.
I was coming to him.
Good.
He was a repeat violator,
yes.
So his account actually got suspended entirely. He was banned from Twitter. So it's got nothing to do with Nigeria. Jair Bolsonaro also fell foul. So it's nothing to do with President Buhari. It's about the kind of feeling that statement incited. It's deemed by some as hate speech. And the minister is correct that the president has freedom of expression. But freedom of expression is not unqualified. There are limits to your freedom of expression, whereby you will be cautioned, and the tweet has been deleted. I think it's embarrassing for us as Nigerians that our president has been reprimanded by Twitter in this fashion.
Well said, Dr. Abati, your
well, first, let me address the first question you raised. Yes, we've seen examples in some other countries where, social media platforms are banned. Last year, India banned 200 Chinese apps.
Anyway, I mean, that's, I do not want to get into what Abati said here, but the bottom line here is that every single person, both the Arise team, everyone here is against the things that the president has said. Myself, actually, to tell you guys that, sometimes it's good to think on your own. I was one of the very few people that really, within an hour that it happened, the moment I saw it, that informed my broadcast 2 days ago. The moment I saw it, and I said, no, this is, without speaking to anyone, or on my own, I never listened to any argument. I just said, no, this is off it. Because in a space of having read 4 tweets, and why did I pick out one? Because I read that one, I was like, wait a minute, what is this guy talking about? When you started making an analogy, and start comparison and start comparing what happened in 1967 to 1970, a dark time in the Nigerian history, and you're saying that a repeat of such will happen, what people would naturally feel is, okay, if you committed this atrocity against us, against my parents, against my fathers and my siblings, and Murtala Mohammed, whom you used his name to build the Lagos International Airport, which in a democratic nation, that airport should no longer bear the name of Murtala Mohammed, because he was someone who partook and who took part in the Asaba massacre. He commanded the Asaba massacre, where men, women, children were asked to come out, that they came in peace. And when they came, they asked the men to go to one side and women to the other side. People thought, okay, story has it that people came out with white handkerchief, waving, saying, okay, you come in peace. We are very peaceful people. And what did they do? They opened fire. Again, hundreds of people died in that incident. And that is unbelievable. Now, let me quickly, before I go to that, I would pay, I'll play this video for us, just on a general insecurity in the nation. Then I can dive into Okwadike, what he said. Here, this is going to be from the SAN Mike Zuckerman. Once more, I keep on collecting these clips to keep showing us that there are divergent views and everyone is pointing to something, that this nation, as it is constituted today, is not working. Even Doyin Yokukbe the other day said that we no longer need the constitution amendment, that all we need is a brand new constitution. I don't even know. It might appear that even the brand new constitution is actually getting late. It appears the brand new constitution is actually getting late. But take a step backwards and consider again, where was Doyin Okukbe? What were the things he was saying a couple of years back? Suddenly, somehow, the moment they leave office, it appears their brains are beginning to, or will begin to open. But as you all know, in Africa, it is very, very un-African. It is very, very un-African to speak while you're eating. Maybe once the dinner is no longer on the table and they move and they go away, maybe suddenly they will begin to speak their mind. So let's now bring in Mike Ozokeme here, SAN, to speak to this issue again on the national issue that Nigeria is in deep crisis.
Prediction some years ago that Nigeria would become a failed state has actually come to pass. Some of the indices of a failed state are when non-state actors possess equal or stronger or more potent power than a legitimately constituted government. Power of violence, instruments of coercion and violence, as we are saying now. And let us not always be saying Nigeria is indivisible, it is indissoluble.
It's a lie.
It is not a textbook definition. Indissolubility and indivisibility can only be brought about when you nurture unity, mutual respect, egalitarianism. It is already divided because every geopolitical zone is already going according to its own details. There is no cohesion. There is no leadership. Can't you see that Nigeria is hemorrhaging? Can't you see that we are bleeding? Can't you see that we are on a journey to no destination? Can't you see that the president should wake up from his self-imposed cocoon and...
Okay. President should wake up. President should wake up. President woke up now. Oh. Sorry. He said, President should wake up. President should wake up. And he woke up. After not speaking to the nation for so long, he woke up and he spoke. And then everybody's running out of skelter. Is it not better than the oracle kept? Also probably keeps quiet.
Hibernation. And seize the reins of power and save Nigeria from what remains of ourselves, self-implosion, self-immolation. Can't you see that we are tottering, we are wobbly, we are groggy? Can't you see that we are falling apart? Can't you see that we needed, as yesterday, to do something urgent to save Nigeria from the precipice, from breaking up into smithereens? Can't you see that the house is collapsing, that the edifice is collapsing? Can't everybody see it? Even if you are blind, can't you feel it? Even if you are blind and you can't feel it, are you numb?
Well. The question he concludes with is, are you numb? If you cannot feel it, if it is not visible to the to the blind, and it is also not audible to the deaf. What is it? The nation, as you can see it, it is not working. So let me go and now get Chief Dr. Chukwuemeka Ezeife, the former governor of Anambra State, who actually gave a brilliant insight also, a very brilliant insight today on what is happening. Actually, he's bringing in before, let me not spill the bean, but I think he brought a different dimension that actually everyone should probably begin to also consider as a possibility here, as a possibility. After watching him, listening to him, and I believe if we also listen to Engineer Abaribe, it might also help to begin to probably have some clarity as to what is likely happening in in the southeast, maybe, because it's good sometimes that you listen to people, diverse people, in order to form an opinion, or in order to know what.
Leslie, what does it seem like some in the eastern part of the country are beating the drums of war by their actions, attacking federal institutions and even the police, and even killing the police? What does it seem like that?
Anybody who hears this story will be mad against the people. But who are the people who are burning INEC offices, who are killing the police? Well, there is the impression that some people, maybe even in government, are guilty of organizing such things. And
you see a dimension that he's bringing to it. I don't know. I don't have the facts, but again, in the midst of, when things are in this way, what smart people do actually is to begin to look at every single possibility so that you do not foreclose any lead. There are various leads. You can start gathering this lead, nurture this lead, and ensure that they get into the funnel, sieve them out. These things can happen in days, weeks, and start cracking them and getting somewhere, and run with these leads. That is the thing that sometimes one will feel so offended that is happening. And that's why people do feel that injustice occur. Because when you begin to delay justice, and people will begin to think that your delay of justice is basically you approving injustice. That's the way it comes.
Blaming it on IPOB and ESN. Effort has been made by elders of our people to find out the truth. And the hands of IPOB and ESN are not there. I'm sure you know that at Owerri prison, there was a lot of devastation. And the IG of police blamed it immediately on IPOB and ESN. Even the governor of that state, Imo State, at the beginning thought it was IPOB and ESN. But now we know that more than 80% of the people caught by the camera, what do you call that? Are not
That's
from
CCTV footage.
Are not from the southeast or even the east at all. Now, Gulag is dead. Was it a design again to blame it on IPOB and ESN. First of all, my heart goes to the family. But we are learning more now. That's a design to provoke the East.
By who?
What do you think the motive for that would be? Because when you say that you suspect that there are elements within the federal government who may be fomenting this trouble in the southeast, what do you think the motives could be?
I don't know whether they are particularly in government, but from what we are reading and from the research we are making and getting results, many people, I'm happy to let me tell you, yes, I read the president's statement. There are many positives there. Number one, he says, in spite of effort to run down the INEC, there will still be elections. Two, that he has no ambition to stay beyond his term of office and go for third term. So, that's very good. But he may not know all that is going on. A president takes responsibility for what is happening. But it is taking what is told. And I heard the Minister for Information categorically blaming IPOB and ESN. How did he know? These are dangerous elements in government.
So exactly why are you absolving ESN and IPOB of these attacks? Because a lot of people, including of course the IG and the president himself, based on his statement, they believe that this is the signature of IPOB and it's a military arm, that's the militant arm, the
and
ESN.
the fact also, let me just add to that, that they call people not to go out to do their normal activities in most parts of the East.
No, that was only for 2 days. The days to honor the heroes past. Let's go back to the basics. IPOB and INEC don't have tradition of shedding blood, of burning down things in the East, burning down what we are boasting for, burning down buildings, killing policemen. Look, I was coming back from my village Iboku. I passed through Onitsha. After 6 hours staying in one place, I had to look for a way to go back, not to go forward now, go back to Iboku.
Okay, let me take you up very quickly, please. Would let you land, but because we need to quickly clarify the issues that you've just raised about evidence that IPOB and the Eastern Security Network (ESN) are not behind these violent attacks against public institutions. What is the basis of your claim? Is it as a result of police investigation? Because you say that you investigated. Who exactly investigated? And, to have this outcome.
And what the evidence really is, I mean, to prove this.
First of all, it is not in Igbo tradition to shoot people in office, shoot police. It's not Igbo tradition to burn down houses. During the
exactly, he's just basically repeating what I've been saying. It is unlike us. It is not in the Igbo tradition. We are builders. That's why any community you go to and you see an Igbo person, he builds. If he moves in a place, I remember in the 90s, if I come to Okota after Sele, on your left, those places were bush. Towards the canal. But if you go there today, if you go to Amuadofi, for instance, I mean, these things you acquire and you build. So the same people destroying, it's unlike Ndigo. And I'm glad he's making this point.
People attributed what was happening in Lagos to some Igbo elements. It was not. And eventually they discovered. So I don't know. The president should not be blamed for what he is told to say.
Let me ask you this. The president said those carrying out these activities are too young to realize the destructions that occurred during the war. The question on the lips of some is whether they have not learned any lessons from that war.
I think people who are doing this, those who are sponsoring this destruction, don't want election.
And who could
don't want president from Southeast Zone. And will even want to scatter the Anambra election and go for
so it is time
situation and appoint somebody. I don't know. Nigerians must be thinking about their fellow citizens, whether they are in Sokoto or in Anambra. We should understand what is going on. We shouldn't jump into conclusion. I went to find out. I blamed some people for what came out of their mouths. Sometimes some people talk too much.
Okay, let's talk about this IPOB issue that seems to not be, going away anytime soon. There seems to be a leadership gap in the Southeast that makes, groups like IPOB, though proscribed, that makes groups like IPOB and others calling for secession, especially in the Southeast, to have this kind of...
So, people, at the end of the day, there is something here that we all can agree on. As the elder statesman has said, whatever is happening is unlike the people of the Southeast. Hence his argument that this thing is very unlikely to be emanating from them.
There are too many instances of the Igbo being humiliated, marginalized, excluded, etc. And look at the recent appointments. The 4 zones, South-South, Southeast, Southwest, and Middle Belt, 4 zones went to court to sue the federal government, the president, for not complying with federal character.
Well, let me take you up on the idea that the federal government is pushing Ndibo out of Nigeria. One of the biggest projects ongoing by this administration, the Niger,
Okay. My sister, I don't understand. When did it start, the Niger Bridge? Who started it? And how far has it gone?
The second Niger Bridge.
That's the second Niger Bridge, yes.
How far has it gone? So there is nothing.
But a lot of people would say that people would say that project has actually moved a lot faster under this administration.
And he's committed to doing it. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. One keeps wondering, you're a former governor, a stakeholder in this nation, and from the East, what the elders in that region are doing to stem this tide, especially from IPOB, ESN. I'm coming. For example, in the Southwest, they've condemned people like Iboho, Sondebo.
Some people condemn.
I don't think one has had any strong leader of your worth, in the East, condemn the IPOB and the ESN and what is happening. Namdekano, particularly what is happening. He is in London and he's inciting people here to...
Maybe we have not enough time. Otherwise, what I'm telling you is that the reaction of the youths in IPOB, man became, is what should be the reaction of everybody, including me. But because I know a bit more, and I know that if you restructure Nigeria.
So are you saying that what they're doing is right because that should be the reaction of everybody, including you? Are you supporting what they are doing?
No, I am saying that those who are saying leave Nigeria, have a reason for that. The federal government is the reason for that.
Are there no other ways without resorting to violence and destroying public institutions?
We are not resorting to violence. Violence is being imposed on us.
Exactly, and that's a very fine place to leave it. He said they are not resorting to violence, that violence is being imposed on them. So obviously you can see that, the elder statesman is saying that the people of the Southeast are not resorting to violence. That the people of the Southeast that violence is coming to them. Now, if you're joining me for the first time on this platform, be it on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please kindly do. If you have, share this video. For some reason, some of you who also operate within this YouTube platform, it appears YouTube is suppressing viewership. I don't know why. Normally, we should be having about 2,000 people online, but I understand this slightly later anyway. But we should have more than this. But it appears YouTube is, doing something. But can we use our like button and our share button to bypass the YouTube algorithm? Just others to know that this is happening here. So I will now go to the next person that I want to invite here, in the person of Senator Enyinia Abaribe, the Maya Ndibo. Mochi Chipo says, yes, I don't notification anymore. Okay, you don't get notification anymore. I think you should check your notification button. But for some reason, I think there is something weird happening, but I do not know. I can't tell. But, looking at the stats, there is something really, really happening here. Okay, people. So let me get to the next person, that is Enyinia Abaribe, who also brought, honestly, a different dimension to the whole conversation as well. Yeah.
They intend to make sure that this administration fails. All this.
Oh, sir, I think that's a wrong video. Let's quickly go back again and check. That's Enyinia Abaribe in the video, in the morning breakfast show that he attended this morning. Quickly, pardon me, let me bring him in and see if I can quickly. Oh, and before that, there is another one actually, still on that same tweet thing. This is another channel. I think it's an Indian-based channel or Asian channel that really actually got more insight into these these arguments to Buhari versus Twitter. They had a different. Let me play that before I bring back.
Twitter suspended Nigerian president's account temporarily and also deleted his tweet. Twitter claims that the leader violated its abusive behavior policy. In the tweet, which is now deleted, President Muhammadu Buhari invoked the civil war and promised a response to the wave of attacks by rebels. The civil war in Nigeria from the year 1967 to 1970 had left more than 1 million people dead. According to Reuters, President Buhari's account was temporarily locked for a period of 12 hours, and it has now been restored. Buhari's office slammed the Twitter action by saying that the president had the right to denounce violence. Nigeria's Information Minister Lai Mohammed condemned Twitter's move and said that the president has the right to speak on security matters. The Nigerian minister went a step further. He cited a series of protests against police brutality in Nigeria and compared them to the storming of the U.S. Capitol Hill. And he said that during a similar situation in America, Twitter insisted on the right to protest. Nigerian president's tweet came after an increase in attacks by rebel leaders, especially on government buildings and police stations in recent weeks. Though temporarily, but Muhammadu Buhari was the second sitting president to have his Twitter account blocked. Former U.S. President Donald Trump's Twitter account has been blocked permanently for now.
Until he repents. Until Donald Trump repents, then his Twitter account.
For a better understanding of these news developments, Phil Ehaza is now joining us live from Abuja in Nigeria with the latest. Welcome to Beyond World is One, Phil. Now, Twitter has suspended the Nigerian president's account temporarily, which now has been restored, and also deleted a tweet. And Twitter claims that the leader violated its abusive behavior policy. Tell us a bit more about this controversial tweet and how are the president's actions being perceived?
Well, thank you. Indeed, it's been a very trending issue since yesterday and up till now on Twitter and other social media platforms. Lots of Nigerians in the country and outside the country have been condemning the tweet, which of course has since been deleted by Twitter for being offensive, for being against the rules of the social media platform. You know, a lot of Nigerians are saying that the earlier tweet was, targeted at some people, some Nigerians in a particular ethnic region in Nigeria known as the Igbos, because many of them were actually killed during the civil war. And a lot of people saw that tweet as a threat, as a kind of genocidal threat to that ethnic population. And so these are some of the reasons why Twitter came out to delete those particular tweets. But of course, the account is up and running. Some of the other messages, condemning the insecurity challenges in that part of Nigeria, and of course warning people who are trying to make efforts to disintegrate Nigeria or cause some insurrection by the president. Those tweets are still in place, and of course the president has come out to say, of course even his aides have come out to say that he has a right to speak on the insecurity matters and of course condemn the criminal activities of some unknown groups in Nigeria.
Right. Now, Phil, Twitter lately has been facing the heat in several other countries as well for its rather lopsided policies or double standards, shall we say, when it comes to what it believes is free speech and what is deemed insightful. So how is this Twitter ban being perceived in Nigeria? Do people support the president in this case?
I'm sorry, I didn't get it. Can you repeat the question?
Yes, sure. I'll repeat my question. I'm saying that Twitter has been criticized in several other countries across the world for its rather lopsided policies or double standards when it comes to what it thinks is insightful. So in this case, when the president's tweet has been banned, are the people of Nigeria supporting the president or are they on Twitter's side?
Well, the president's speech has to be taken down. So that's
it's a mixed reactions, that have occurred in the past 24 hours since this event actually happened. Quite a number of people on the side of Twitter saying that leaders should be called to order when they cross the line. Of course, in this case, especially when it has to do with such comments that are offensive. And then, of course, quite a number of people are defending the fact that the president has a right to speak to any of his citizens as the number one citizen in the country, and of course the leader, especially at a time when the country is faced with quite a number of insecurity challenges, from insurgency to kidnapping and banditry, and then
so that's enough. So let's get back to Senator Abaribe, who indeed gave a very different, answers and approach to the whole conversation. It is indeed a very fantastic. It is indeed a very fantastic thing here to watch. So let's quickly get to the meat of the matter.
Going on in the Southeast.
What's the position of the minority caucus in the Senate? I don't think I've read anything about that, although I've seen a statement by the PDP in that regard. And then what do you make of the situation in the Southeast? The lockdown, the role of IPOB, and the response by the federal government. Those two issues in the last few days.
Well, let me say, first of all, that the minority caucus in the Senate are on the same page with the minority caucus in the House. We actually worked together, and when they were sending out that statement, they sent it to me, and I reviewed it, and I told them that we're on the same page with them. So you can make the assumption that we also in the Senate minority caucus do not agree with the federal government on the purported achievements. With regard to the what's going on in the Southeast and the response of Mr. President, Ruben, let me just say this. Well, somebody was discussing with me and said, why don't we tell Mr. President something, that the language that the Igbos understand, that we can let him know the language. And I want to share it with Nigerians. The language that Igbos understand, actually, is Emewanyike Obiadeyama.
Is it not the same thing as if I had a conversation with any near Abaribe before he went into the studio? Is it not the same thing I've been telling us here? My own analogy to Emewanyike Obiadeyama is the analogy of let the eagle perch, let the kite perch. Ebe bere, ugo bere. That is the same thing. That is proverb. Just like General Achebe keeps saying. General Achebe said when he was alive. Proverb is the palm oil with which words are eaten. And
in the days when we had polygamy, that is rife, when you treat every wife the same way you treat all of them, they will be happy. In other words, treat me as you would want to treat every other person. It is this imbalance in treatment, this unjust treatment of people, that is leading to this whole, I would say, response by violence. But I can say one thing. The Southeast Caucus, both in the House and in the Senate, we issued a statement a couple of days ago. And what we said was that we totally condemn the violence that is enveloping us in the Southeast. None of us supports the raging violence there, the killing of policemen, the destruction and the burning of government offices, INEC, courts, and so forth. None of us supports it. We know that you can only get what you want by negotiation, and that you're not going to get it through a violent means. But another thing that we also know is that the response that we're getting from the federal government does not seem to us to be a response that is calculated to douse tension and bring peace. When you threaten to visit on people depredations of a civil war, what type of message are you sending out?
Exactly.
We expect Mr. President, as the father of the nation,
he's not capable
to be able to embrace everybody. But you see, we have always seen this pattern. And this pattern is that it doesn't matter what happens elsewhere. anytime anything happens in the Southeast, it is when the president comes out and with this and says, we will crush you, we will do this, or we will do that. And we think that that is not, not a way to go.
Exactly. I mean, you know, again, I repeat before one starts sounding like a broken record, I repeat for the umpteenth time. The issue with the whole tweet and why everybody, including myself, till tomorrow morning has issue with that tweet was because of the connection to the war. If you had said you're going to deal with those who are destroying INEC facilities, who are engaging in prison breaks, of course, deal with them the same way you would deal with those bandits in Zamfara, in Castina. Deal with them the same way you would deal with those Boko Haram ISWAP in the Northeast. It wouldn't be an issue. But you could not be looking at people and telling them, oh, they haven't learned anything because they were not born during the war, that you're going to deal with them the way you dealt with their parents during the war. Then how did you deal with their parents? You committed massacre. You committed genocide against a people. Over 2 million children died because of starvation. And here you are, a president of a nation that ought to be, quote unquote, in parentheses, a father. Honestly, I think Abaribe is spot on here. So for those of you joining me once more, can you kindly like this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't? Let's make it happen. For those of you willing and wishing to join and support the platform and the work we do, you can use the super sticker, super chat, whatever it is called, to do that. So, Senator Abaribe, quickly, can you come back to that discussion? Thank you very much. Come on.
If you go to the airport, and if you're coming from the airport in Abuja, you will see this big banner with a very beautiful photograph of Mr. President, and that banner says, Baba for all. So, if Baba, rather than being for all, is for some people, and then for the Southeast, you tell them that I will deal with you. I don't think that people in the Southeast are going to be very, very happy about that. And that is what we see. As for the root cause of what is leading to all this, we have...
And sorry, before I let Abaribe continue, for those of you watching me now, which topic would you want us to treat tomorrow? Can we vote in the comment section? The topic tomorrow, remember, that's my Friday hangout with Mazes, okay? So where you will need to get a glass of your wine, or some of you who like German wheat beer, Nkwocha, whatever, Ompa, you get it, and we sit back. And someone asking, how do I get super sticker? You get super sticker only for those watching on YouTube. So if you want to join us on YouTube, we can, you can come on to YouTube and join there. So on the comment section, if you have a specific topic that you want me to address, then you can quickly make your suggestions. We aggregate them and see if a topic wins, then we can address them tomorrow. Okay, so let's bring back Abaribe here.
Consistently said it over the years, and that has always been that the root of everything is justice. If you do not give people justice, the impression will always be created in the minds of those from the Southeast that they are being seen as people from a different place. Let's just put it that way. Because I remember that when we started shouting about the incursion of the herdsmen, the killer herdsmen coming into Nigeria.
You have to come to YouTube.
And you know, coming down south to the Benue Plateau, and there's so much killings and all that. And we continue shouting, this, what's going on? And we were always being given very different reasons for which we should accommodate foreigners. And we couldn't understand it. And I remember that on the floor of the Senate, we all condemned it, and condemned it not just by those from the South, but by everyone. And so at this moment, where things have gotten to this point, to now see that it's only one part of the country, the Southeast, that is going to be visited with the might of the federal government, makes all of us, well, say that we could find a better way and a better path. And the only way we can do it is engagement with the people. We must engage. When the Southern governors met, they said, try to engage. Everybody has been saying, try to engage.
Senator here, with all due respect, I think part of the reason why the people are angry, we must always say the truth. As Dino Melaya always say, if you talk through, you die. If you don't talk, you still die. So I think part of the reason why people are really angry is because of the way the political class where you belong to have addressed issues. Again, the way they have addressed issues. So we must be clear on that as well. So for those of you watching on YouTube, on Facebook, saying how do you come onto YouTube, I've just shared the link for you to come to the stream on YouTube. You can see that there. Obiekeke, thank you very much for the super chat. Obiekeke, thank you. So let's bring back Abaribe.
Ruben, we're still waiting for that engagement.
Well, I was explaining the situation, the position of Igbos in Nigeria to a foreign friend of mine, and I used the phrase stepchildren is how Igbos are treated. So it's funny you should mention polygamy. I took it to a different level. But I want to play devil's advocate here and ask you if you feel personally threatened by what the president said as an Igbo man, or if he was actually referring, if that tough talk was targeted specifically at criminals causing unrest in the Southeast, because those are the people making Igbo women widows and Igbo children orphans when they go and murder police officers and murder innocent, peace-loving Igbos trying to just get along with their lives.
Well, also in playing devil's advocate, let me also play the reverse to you. Was any threat made to all people in the Northeast, with all the killings going on there? Was there any threat made to the people, even in the president's own state of Katsina, with all the killings and banditry and everything going on there? None. So why the Southeast? That is the question that we always want to ask.
Did you guys capture what
I think really that
the question.
Let me also use another adage in Igbo. The world view of the Igbo is Egbe bere, Ugo bere.
Exactly
Let the eagle
what I've been saying.
and the hawk perch together. Let no one tell the other don't perch. That has always been our feeling. Now, Igbos are the...
sometimes, sorry, but I got to stop. These are things that one has been saying. What we are saying is that if you have, if a circle split into 4 is 25-25, you have your 25. Mr. B takes 25, Mrs. Z takes 25. Why on earth would anyone be interested in my own 25? Freaking on earth, just give me my own 25. Then let's deal with it. And that is the moment you take your 25, he takes his 25, the other person takes their 25, and my 25 becomes an issue of contention, be it in appointment, in anything, in infrastructure development, or any other thing. Sadly, the moment that happens, the people will not be happy. And it's as simple as that.
Most widely traveled people that you know. And we also have an ethos, and that is Ojembe Hero. We cannot.
Law, that is Onyenjenje, that is Njenje Media. See, we, the wise travelers. We, the wise travelers. So someone's saying, Mazi, what is Super Chat all about? Now, Super Chat is in the comment section. You will see that like that $sign. If you click on it, it probably allows you to buy a Super Chat, to donate, or to just support the channel. That's it. You know, I like your 25 math. Well, but in spirit of fairness, it's just like, you know, when personally I found it a little bit insulting. Let me give us a generic example. You are four in a family, and you all married in a family. Sadly, one of your siblings dies, and maybe three of you remaining will look at, oh, the person that died is the second son, and he has maybe 2 houses, 2 cars. Yet the same individual has a wife and children. And you're thinking, okay, it's my brother's car, let me go and take it. Listen, it's you know, it's sickening. You couldn't do that. You must leave that vehicle, those properties for the children of that family. That is what justice and equity does. Hustle for yourself. It's the same thing with Nigeria. Everybody's just talking jaga, yaga, yaga. But do the right thing you can. But when it comes to threatening people, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do the other one. Come on. Come on. If you have spoken in generic terms that you're going to deal with them, yes, you know, I don't want to share this here. But again, sometimes it gets me really worked up, because when you look at it, you find out that this is the same president that actually, when the students of Grenfell University were kidnapped in Kaduna, the same president is telling them, oh, we appeal to you. The tweet is still there. We appeal to you. We appeal to you to release them. Now you are appealing. You're not telling them you can cause
not be angry with people, because we also go out everywhere. So when this type of, I would say, personalization of the angst, what it tells us is something. And with all due respect, it just makes everyone feel, including myself, that somehow, when there's a big problem in Nigeria and you need to resolve it, use the Igbo head to resolve that problem. That's right. But let me tell you one other thing that I'm very, very happy about.
Beko, yes,
and that is a live program. When the Minister of Justice made the unfortunate statement about spare part traders, you saw Nigerians all come out and say, I'm a spare part trader. And that, of course, gladdened everybody's mind. When the unfortunate statement that was credited to Mr. President also came out, you could also see Nigerians come out and say, I am Igbo. In other words, we have transcended those artificial boundaries that they use before to demonize a particular group of people. And so we are happy that Nigerians are all coming together. Nigerians are all seeing that what is here is not the Igbo problem. That what is here is a criminal syndicate going around all parts of the country, and the government needs to unravel it. If a criminal burns a police station or kills, and then you do nothing, and then you now go and arrest every villager that you see on the street, which is what is going on in the Southeast, you cannot be resolving the issue. What you're actually doing is that you're letting everybody know that it is us versus them, which is not a very good way of building unity in the country. So we, in our statement, now said, let the Inspector General of Police and the other security agencies conduct in-depth investigations, bring people, try them. Not
Yes,
to just
Sammy,
round up youths that you see, conduct extrajudicial killings, and then say that, oh, you have resolved the issue. You don't. You actually push it on the ground, and it continues to fester.
I believe
So we have been calling and calling for an engagement, a civil engagement that will resolve the issues
than you do.
bedeviling the country.
You engage them in private to see.
Okay, Senator, thank you so much for your time. You've been calling for a civil engagement, and everybody have been talking about that civil engagement. You stood as surety for Nnamdi Kanu. Have you called on him too for this civil engagement? And have you called on, other people in here, the Igbo elders? Have you called on your constituency in the Senate, from other parts, for all of us to come together to have this civil engagement? Because you see, as it is now in Nigeria, we all need to be statesmen. That's the way forward. It's our country. We can have narrative and counter-narrative. It will not take us anywhere. So how can we all sit down on the table and become statesmen, which means rising beyond any hate or hurt or bigotry that we might have had before?
Rotus, let me put it this way. In the past few weeks, we have had engagements among ourselves, among the those of us in the National Assembly, the governors, the clergy, and we have all reached out to all the people around who we can engage with to say, this is the time for us to de-escalate. You do not, like we say in Igbo land, you don't fight in your kitchen because you're either going to break bottles, your break pots and pans and all that. We cannot visit this on ourselves. And that is part of the problems that we have. If there is no in-depth investigation to find out who actually is instigating this violence there, merely just pushing it on one side. Of course, we know that all manners of actors will come in when there is, problems and confusion everywhere. We have tried to reach out to, including Nnamdi Kanu himself and all that, and saying, this cannot be the way to go. We are all done that, and we're doing it, and we will continue to do it. I have personally met with officials of the government and also all my own brothers and sisters, and we have all come out to say, no, violence is not the way. Senator, we should find a way of resolving it.
I want to get this specifically. Have you reached out to Nnamdi Kanu? Have you called him up? Do you have conversations with him as regards this? If for anything, about rhetoric, about what is coming out there, about de-escalation? Have you had a conversation with him? We just want to know, Senator.
I don't have any conversation with Nnamdi Kanu. I don't have that, I would say, privilege. What I do is that I go through his lawyers to tell him, this is what we think. And we have been trying to reach out to him. And so he has gotten information from us to say, no, this is not the way to go. We also, look, the people who die, they are also fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters of people. People who get killed, they also have widows, they also have children, they have, and when people get killed, I don't really look around to know whether the person is Igbo or Ijaw or whatever. All manners of people get killed, and that cannot be the way forward. And we have done so.
Well, Senator, very quickly, people are already reacting to this conversation we are having with you, and I've seen one or two comments here. But first, one concern is that, yes, you are saying that the president is...
So if you're liking the conversation, and if you're liking the conversation with Abaribe, and you're liking the analysis, kindly hit the like button on Facebook, on YouTube. Just like it, share this video. Some people will say, share. And some will say, "Sure, you can share when you speak in tongue. Don't allow me speak in tongue with sharing." But again, the point here is that what Abaribe is saying is reinforcing the same thing that I have said on this platform over and over and over. So it's always good to get someone else to either re-echo your thoughts or solidify your thinking.
Targeting the Southeast, but somebody sent in a message saying, but it is precisely in the Southeast that you are having a lockdown enforced by non-state actors. It is in the Southeast.
Sorry, somebody, Excellency says, Mazes, okay, you're too political correct. I mean, sorry, if you don't like it, sadly, you can leave if you don't. But if you think not being political correct, if respecting everybody is being political correct, then you can move to another platform where you can insult people. Here, we do not insult people. I do not insult people. And if you call that political correctness, then
you have
yes,
had majorly attacks on INEC facilities and cases of assassination and indications of anarchy that should the president just fold his hands. And in any case, somebody also sent a message that you should be asked the question that, look, Senator Abaribe, yes, you stood surety for Nnamdi Kanu, 500 million naira bond. And that person who sent that message was asking, have you paid that bond? But my own question now, after reacting to those reactions, my own question is this. In January 2020, a year ago, you called for the resignation of President Muhammadu Buhari. You argued on the floor of the Senate that his inability to deal with the security situation in Nigeria had reached a point that he should resign.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still hold that position today, or you have shifted position?
Okay, everyone watching now, this question...
Okay, so let me start from this one, the first one you talked about. I don't think I'm the only person.
Okay, now, this question that has been put to Abaribe, let's assume that you are Abaribe now. Can we vote as well here? Do you want President Muhammadu Buhari to resign? That is the question that was put to Abaribe. So you can now vote in the comment section, yes or no.
Who has done so. Even people from, I think, the Northern Elders Forum or whoever, I saw them, people from the West, people from everywhere, have come and said, resign. I think that attributing it to me is no longer, you will just say that
someone is already
foresaw that there was a difficulty
to resign like
in doing the work of, what is actually the work of Mr. President? The job of a president is actually to lead us towards, I would say, better welfare, better prosperity, everything. And to be able to wield the diverse parts of Nigeria together. So if you find it very difficult to mismanage the diversity of the country, that is where we now have all these problems. Secondly, on the Nnamdi Kanu matter, at every point that I come to a television station, the very first thing that comes, oh, you stood surety. Everybody forgets that this was a legal requirement for his bail. It was ordered by a judge saying a senator, and I was chairman of Southeast Senators Forum. And so I had to step up to so when people now make this mischievous comment to say, why, so you stood bail, did they expect that no senator from the Southeast will be able to stand? Or was that the thinking? I don't think so. I think a judge just made a prevail, and then we stepped up. As for whether I paid or not, I think that's a legal matter that the courts are handling. And we are in the appeal court now, and the matter is going on. I think that really instead of having an honest conversation about the problem of Nigeria, usually people bring in extraneous factors, and the extraneous factors now tend to dominate the conversation. The conversation here is simple. We are having an existential problem in Nigeria. And when you have this type of problem, statesmen come together to say, how do we resolve these issues? And all that we have said is, can we all come and even have a conversation on it? And at any time you say that, there is always this, I would say, fallback position. And the fallback position comes from the fact, this is my own thinking, that there is a rush to protect Mr. President from anybody asking any question, as if it's not a constitutional democracy. That is just the point. And so when questions are asked, the reaction is that you ought not to even ask questions. If we had a monarchy, maybe that may have been better. But I'm the minority leader of the Senate, and automatically that confers on me the fact that I should be able to question the policies of government, the direction of government, the way that the president conducts the affairs of the government. That is my role. And when you try to do that, what you now see is all these brickbats coming from right, left, and center. That is not a democracy. A democracy means that you should be able to say, this path that we're going is not the right path. I think that there's an alternative path we can go, and you can try to go through that alternative path.
Exactly.
You know, and I don't, I actually feel very sorry for the ministers and all those people who have to come out and always haul insults on us. The reason is that they have to also protect their jobs. And so they think that doing their job is by making sure that nobody talks. So we now have...
You see, exactly what the senator is saying. Many people, you know, on the Buhari's government thinks that the only way they are appeasing the oracle is that indirectly telling everybody that they need to zip it, you know, that no one should be talking. So guys, dear Laoka here, who is here, kindly smash the like button, guys, and share the video, and if you may, you can use the super sticker, share and smash. So when you're looking at this now, the reason why I have allowed Abaribe here, because what Abaribe said in this interview is so loaded, and the beauty of it is that some of the questions actually came from those watching like we are watching now. And I think Ruben and OJ was able to take some of these questions, and in my estimation, he did, and he gave his best shot at these questions that came to him.
Have a situation where some people feel that we should be the three monkeys, deaf, dumb, and blind.
That's exactly what they want us to be. You know, a government that came through the use of social media, Twitter, Facebook, you know, Instagram, suddenly is saying that you know, that Twitter has an agenda for Nigeria. Oh dear.
That cannot be.
I'd like to specifically raise the issue of the fires, the arson attacks on INEC offices and facilities in the Southeast in quick succession. You know, it's clearly an attack on our democracy at a time where it's hoped now more than ever that a critical mass will be reached for an Igbo, well, a president of Igbo extraction, as they like to put it, in the media. Do you have any insights into the perpetrators and their motives?
Well, somebody has suggested, suppose these attacks being done in quick succession in Igbo land is meant to scuttle the proposal for an Igbo presidency.
Exactly.
You can also look at it from that perspective. So,
you see, he didn't speak to Dr. Chukwuemeka Ezeife before this interview, but you can see that his argument is aligning with what the former governor of Anambra State actually said, that we should look beyond what is actually happening or the people that is being blamed for this attack. That why is it that for the first time, the Southeast is attacking INEC offices? And beyond that, also other states within the Southeast are seeing of INEC offices being damaged. It's someone trying to reduce the voting capacity of Ndibo. So again, you see, this is an analysis before some of you begin to accuse me of not supporting A or supporting B. No, this is an analysis. When you're doing content analysis, you're basically trying to expatiate on what has been said. So it's not a question of this is A, this is B, but you have to look at both sides. Are we fixated in one direction that this could be where this is coming from? Or, according to him and what Ezeife said before, are there more to these attacks that you and I do not know?
We don't know. And what we have been saying, and which I said that we first condemned, and we said, try to fish out some people, try to investigate, try to hold some people, and now do a thorough investigation, bring them out, and then we know who is doing this, who their sponsors are, and why they are doing it. Every point that we see is, oh, something has just happened, and then there's a blanket statement saying, oh, it is this set of people. Yet, none have been gotten and tried. Civil engagement, civil rule says investigate, apprehend, and try the people. That will unveil this seeming thing going on. And I don't think that there is any Igbo man that will support the burning and the descent of INEC office. Nobody will do.
Again, here I stand with you. I do not care what anybody says. I do not believe that it is necessary to burn these infrastructures. Neither do I believe, because understanding Ndibo, neither do I believe for 1 second that is in the interest of Ndibo to burn those physical assets and infrastructures. Here, once more, I agree and align with your views.
That I do not, and I know that my colleagues don't. We have spoken with each other, we have discussed it, and we have all come out, and we have been talking, and we are still talking with everybody around about that. And what we do is this: we don't do investigations. We continue to call on the authorities that do the investigations, the police, the DSS, and all that. Can you get these people and make sure that they are tried? That will now unravel all these plots going on. There are so many conspiracy theories, and one of it is just what I told you. Suppose it is meant to make sure that when our people come out and say, we want to be president, how can you be president when you people have been making sure that there will be no elections in your
place?
We don't know.
Whoa, Senator. Exactly that is what I am beginning to think that is happening. Because remember, there was this honorable, I think it was published on Ginger Media, I don't know, but I think, I heard when one of the staff said they're going to publish it, an audio where this honorable, I can't even remember his name, but it's better described as this honorable man, when he was invited to come and speak. And I think at the end of the day, if I have time, if many of you who haven't watched it, you can go to Injinja Media. I think it was published early this morning, where this guy was, this lady rang him to, representing this professor to come and be the chairman of a book launch in Abuja. And that guy spewed absolute bunkum with his mouth. That is Malimfa. Honorable whatever Malimfa is his name. And honestly, I could never with my mouth repeat the languages, the foul languages he used against Ndibo. And this is because of this perceived, you can see that deep-seated anger. And you can see the same thing when Buhari talks. In 2000, if not, what would make a man who has gone to America, having won election, people received you, nobody knew how you're going to govern, just a reporter now asks you, how are you going to govern, how are you going to include the Niger Delta in your government? Rather than say something as a president who just won an election, what he could say is that you could not expect him, in all honesty, to treat those that have given them 5%, referring to the Southeast and the South-South or the Old Eastern region, that you could not expect, in all honesty, to treat them the same way with those that gave you so much percentage. Come on. I mean,
and I have to
really
tell you,
sad.
Tundu, we want answers too, just like you want answers.
Still speaking and sort of like segueing from where Tundu stopped. Dr. Ezeife.
Someone saying we all speaking. Okay, please. We are. Oku says your problem is that you're speaking grammar and no common sense. Okay, thank you very much. We don't have common sense. All we need is referendum. Period. Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, unsubscribe. Go and get your referendum now. If it's that easy, people just come online and maybe you think they forgot their senses in the back of their boot. So go and get it now. You people now put online and now killing you. Ken Riba says 97 plus 5% is 102 exactly. That statement was mathematically wrong. However you looked at that statement, it is bad, baddest. I mean, just saying that reminds me of when we talk about badam. Laura Queen, thank you very much for that super chat. Thank you, much appreciated. Thank you for that super chat, Laura Queen. So again, people, let's make sense here. One thing you people must understand that in Igbo, in the world of Ndibo, conversation is an act. Conversation is an act. This notion of not thinking, not having strategy. Oh, let's go, get how Nzobo gets you nowhere. You must, go and read the what's it called, 40 whatever of power. Where is that book? Oh no, okay, it's on the other desk. So when you read such books, you understand. Listen, there must be people who keep sensitizing people by the use of words. There must be people at various echelons speaking. You can't just come and put blankets. Oh no, nobody should talk. No, it's not. Nobody should talk. It's just no. Exactly. Bless you, Emma Eyes. 48 laws of power. Go and read it. I think this. We must be a strategic people. Maybe over time, the best thing that has happened. I keep saying it. I cannot be saying this enough. The best thing that has happened to us is the alliance that you can see that is happening within the southern Nigeria. Every day I wake up, I realize that I'm so happy. No, it's not 49, it's 40. 49 laws, 50 cents on. It's, every day I woke up, I realized that this is actually happening, because it's something for the past 5-6 years that I've been talking about, that no one could actually, none of the regions, if any day the Yorubas think, oh, we woke up, we can just go, we'll do our self-determination, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. A very larger population has done it before, the old eastern region, that is, very massive and a very large region, but yet it didn't get nowhere. But today, collectively, you know whom the enemies are. Collectively, you can overwhelm them. And the only way you can overwhelm your enemy is to be more strategic. So anyone who thinks, oh, that meeting or speaking, or even in this manner of engagement, so what do you want to do? You want everybody to shut up. And when everybody shuts up, how are you going to? And you, the same person saying that people are talking, will be the same person saying, oh, this thing happened here. Why is nobody talking about it? You could be a white man, dead body. They carry you up. You say, no. They carry you down. You say, no. Come on. There must be some sense of direction, people. Thank you very much for all of you watching. If you're able to subscribe, smash the like button. Let's make it roll, people. Thank you very much for all your support.
Former governor of Anambra State was here yesterday, was on this platform, the Arise News Night, and he kept on saying that the attacks going on is to discredit people from the Southeast. That was the slant of his conversation yesterday. And somebody wonders, like you say, there are many layers to it. Could it even be political? Why is it that there's a concentration of this in Imo State, all of a sudden? Some people are even asking, is this not the same Imo State that Ihedioha was there for quite a while? It was peaceful as anything. And all of a sudden, a new governor comes in, and there's contestation. So what is really happening? Because there are many layers of this, If you keep peeling all the bulbs of this political onion going on in the Southeast, we seem not to be able to get to the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think your guess is as good as mine. Whatever I say here will be mere speculation. But I do not believe, and I repeat, I do not believe that our security agencies are incapable of getting to the root of this. I do not
exactly
believe that.
Me too.
I think they can. I think it is possible. Not doing it. And we can deploy all manners of assets to use to be able to get to the root of this. And the sooner it's done, the better for each and every one of us.
I mean, why Imo, like I asked earlier on? Why is it that there's a big blowback in Imo State? Why? Could it be because of the political
I have no idea why.
Yeah.
Well,
that would be speculation. Like I said, that would be speculation.
Well, I see that a lot of people I see that a lot of people are interested in this conversation. Someone just sent me another message now and said, well, you were very critical of President Buhari's statement yesterday, but that you need to be reminded that the president also much earlier, before now, declared a shoot-on-sight order, against herdsmen in the northwest and bandits in the northwestern part of the country. I don't know what you say to that, but from the comment you just made, are you suggesting that the violence in the Southeast is state-sponsored? Because you kept talking about conspiracy theories. So are you saying that it is state-sponsored?
Well,
I'm saying that we should leave our options open until we are able to get to the root of it.
Exactly.
And nothing should be taken out of the table.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have also during the Abacha era, also seen state-sponsored things happening. If you remember, Ruben, because you were in Lagos then,
and
as
you were
part of
them,
what was going on then. But going beyond that, the reason why the Southeast got especially worried with Mr. President is that we had suffered the devastation of war. And so, when someone that we regard as our father now tries to remind us of what was done to us, naturally, we should be very, very, very worried about it. They should aside all that. Assuming that Mr. President had just said, we will not tolerate this, what is going on in the Southeast, and that we are telling everybody, no, that no more, if we get you with that, nobody will talk. But to now say, oh, these children, let me also say this. The children that you refer to, as much as they don't remember the Civil War, they also know what justice is. They know what equity is. They know what inequality means. And so,
exactly,
if you want to put out fire, you deprive it of oxygen, because oxygen that makes that fire burn. And so, what is the oxygen that is making all these fires burn? Once you do that, then you will not have any reason to have anybody want to feel that they should be disengaged from the Nigerian project. That's just what is going on.
Yes, indeed. Now, if we have a distant paterfamilias, what about your siblings, your brothers in the Southeast? I made this point on the show a couple of days ago, that why did the Southeast governors fail to sort of fill that gap left by the federal government? As far as I'm concerned, something like the Biafra Remembrance Day should be a federal holiday.
Again, you see, to the question they are getting now, and that is one thing that everyone, most Igbo leaders know where I stand with this. It is a failure of leadership, because you cannot beat a child and tell the child not to cry. I do not care if Nigeria does not want to set a day aside to remember the death, the needless death, those that died as a result of starvation, those that died in Asaba massacre, those that died in, hospital bombardments and all the rest. This is where I clearly blame the Igbo leaders, and hopefully lessons has been learned from this year. They must declare the dates for this remembrance, where they can lay reach and where they can, a particular date on the 30th of May, say that it is a public holiday. The Southwest did it with June 12th. This is why we must have leaders who are assertive. I do not care what Abuja thinks. I am saying it here without mincing words. It is time we begin to knock them, we begin to push them, we begin to give them the support that it is a date we are all demanding. And beyond the governors, you and I have friends, you and I have brothers and sisters who are in the state assemblies. They must also begin to look into putting it as state legislations to say, we want to map out this date for us to remember our brothers and our sisters, our uncles, our fathers, who gave their yesterday for us to be alive today. We must accord them this date of remembering that we lost them.
It is not. But nothing stops the Southeast governors from making it a federal state holiday in that zone, similar to what the Southwest governors did with June 12th before the federal government finally caught up and arrived at the party years later. Why has that not happened? Because nature abhors a vacuum. What the governors failed to do, you have a person like Nnamdi Kanu, who then stepped up to the plate and did it, and then issued a death threat to whoever, flouts the stay-at-home order, which we all know is not ideal. What is the role of the Southeast governors in fostering this sense of harmony and sense of belonging and sense of dignity, quite frankly, in the Southeast region?
Tundun, there's a saying in our place that when you wake up, it's your morning.
At the end of this program,
yesterday.
Sorry to interrupt you. At the end of this program, I'm going to.
I think Ruben Abbott is trying to learn some proverbs here, but let me take some questions before because they are scrolling too fast. OG Ezeife says, hello everyone, blah, blah, blah. Is June 12th respected throughout the nation? Now, yes. The Yoruba is through soft powers. Again, is soft powers and alliance. They've been able to convince the president to move it as Democracy Day. So you're going to see it on the June 12th. I don't think it's a national holiday, but at least it's now recognized nationally. Now, listen. No one will treat. Okay, I'll put it this way: no one is going to treat you right if you don't treat yourself right first. They say, when you wear rag as cloth, people would address you as a madman. No one stops you from saying, I am Anambra State, I am Enugu State, I am Ebonyi State, I am Imo State, I am, Abia. I want this date to be the date I want to remember the dead. It does not concern you. It's none of your business. It is your own. You own it. It's only when you have done it consistently, maybe over the years. See, we must also learn that everything is not knock, knock. The Yorubas are able to get June 12th. Why was Obasanjo not able to make June 12th a national remembrance day? He couldn't, even when he was a Yoruba. Why was Yar'Adua not able to? But in this government, because they are the reason that this government came to be, so somehow they had an upper hand, and they have a vice president that is screwed on. So what they now did was to use the soft powers of negotiation. That you have a hammer does not mean everything must be nailed. Like, let me also respond to someone who said that I said he was insulting my brother. I didn't say you are insulting, but what I'm saying here, what I'm going to respond to you now is because you're saying that Abaribe is making a great deal of sense. And you said, Mazes, okay, this is not a time to play good ball. Listen, one thing you have to learn is Abaribe is making sense. Yet, Abaribe has not risen his voice. He hasn't shouted. He hasn't insulted anybody. That's one thing we must learn. You can be making your point without insulting anyone. And that's one thing. If I have learned nothing in my relationship with Abaribe, that's one thing I've learned, that you can be outspoken, you can make your point without insulting anybody. Even the way he does it, I learn it as well. He does it even telling you these uncomfortable things while he's laughing. You can see it here. He's smiling all the time, but he's saying the things that others will be shouting, sweating, wah, 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 wah. But he's saying the right things, responding calmly. It is a virtue that I would encourage all of us to learn. Because at the end of the day, he's not being combatant. He's just basically saying it the way it is.
An index of all the Igbo proverbs today. Because this is about the sixth one. But it's okay. Please carry on.
Yesterday, I read somewhere the chairman of the Governors Forum, Dave Umahi of Ebonyi, saying that they will now start to celebrate the May 30 the celebrations in honor of those who died during the war. So now that he has said it, I'm sure that it must have been a conversation among the governors, and they're probably going to do it. They may be coming late to the party, but
no one is forcing you to accept one Nigeria. I'm not accepting one Nigeria.
Right. So real quickly, I want to talk a little bit about Igbo presidency. Is that still on the card? Because at the start of the year, before this violence, the conversation was on Igbo presidency, permutations here and there.
Nigeria
all of a sudden, it's about violence now.
We must make
it
to Igbo land. That's what
Is
I'm
Igbo
saying.
presidency still on the card? What are the conversations going on that we don't know about Igbo presidency? What are the possible candidates? Who are we looking at? How is this talk across the Niger going on? Are these candidates meeting people from the East? Could it be a Mogalu? Mogalu came out and said, I'm putting my heart in the ring yesterday. He's an Igbo man too. Could it tilt towards Mogalu? Because if you talk Igbo presidency now, the only person I'll say I've seen is Professor Mogalu, because he's declared.
Well, let's just put it this way. We belong to political parties. I belong to a political party, the People's Democratic Party. And there are ongoing conversations within the party. But let me address what you said about this violence and Igbo presidency. Look, Katsina has far more violence than the Southeast combined. Yet, we have a president from there. So when people start to make all this, we just say, what do you mean? There are just pockets of violence all over Nigeria. Does that mean that the president will not come from somewhere? So, for anybody to make that argument, oh, there's violence there and therefore you should not go there, where is the place where there is no violence? None. So, that is not an argument against
Another great point.
What I know is that talks will go on within parties. When the parties now go for their conventions, those who want to be president will come, and then they will sell their ideas, and then they will, somebody will be chosen. I think that what we as Igbos ought to do, and which some of us are doing, is to engage all the actors within our parties and be saying, we think that this is the best way to go, to be able to assuage everybody's feelings and all that. And I think that Ezeife, in his intervention, not just here, also in TVC News and all that, because it was the TVC one that I saw, and he continued to say, resolve this issue to help us feel,
Senator, on that note, we need to take a short commercial break, but stay with us.
So obviously, you can see that the conversation is progressing. Let me skip that break.
When President Yar'Adua was indisposed and the vice president couldn't step up because the procedure at that time was that there had to be a letter from Mr. President. But we amended the Constitution to now give such provision now that if after 21 days there's no letter, automatically that kicks in. There is no amendment that will not lead to, what we want is a better union. And we, as the National Assembly, of which I'm part of it, we cannot on our own abrogate the Constitution that we were elected under. And so...
Sorry, Mr. Senator, I think that's where I disagree with you. Remember, you guys want to do something like a doctrine of necessity, which I consider not far-reaching enough. Rather than go to a doctrine of necessity, why is it not possible to have a brand new constitution that will be subjected to a referendum that the people of Nigeria must have to agree, in a referendum saying this is what a brand new constitution done by their generation with language that they understand, and they can go back and say this is what they have negotiated too. And if the negotiation ends with, okay, we want to try once more under this arrangement, maybe under regional governance, so be it. But anything you guys are doing, sorry, but I disagree on this. Anything you guys are doing now to just keep tinkering this, I can still say it, the same thing I said under Ekweremadu, that it was not going to amount to anything, and eventually it didn't amount to anything. I'm still going to repeat it now, that this particular exercise is already dead on arrival. It's not going to amount to anything. Again, what I know. But we will see now. We will see. We will see how it will take end. It cannot amount to anything. That's honestly, that's my view. That is not going to amount.
So, the only thing we can do is to say, where are those contentious issues that we can take and deal with? And that is what is going on. And as for the number of consultations, I think the wider, the better. We ought to have every shred of opinion so that no one will turn around to say, I was not listening to, and therefore, whatever you're doing should not work. I think that we should give it a chance.
Right. I'm going to take you back to the 2023 elections because I have a question somebody asked me to ask you, and throwing out some specific names, people who have proved their political mettle, like Dr. Chris Ngige and Dr. Ogbonaya Onu, and I will add women, obviously, like Sharon Ikeazu, and obviously Honorable, one of your colleagues in the National Assembly, Honorable Onyeji Ocha. What about people like that who have actually proved themselves? What are their chances, do you think?
Well, they are in a political party. And when the political party now says that the gate is open for anybody who wants to be president, they ought to also make their requests. In fact, one of my people, one of the traditional rulers in my place, is the person you see his hand on the counter that you put medicine when they used to go to dispensary in those days. So if you sit in your house and you don't want to come out to be a president, how are you going to be? So nobody can ask and tell us, oh, you are not doing that, or you are doing that, or something. Somebody with fire in his belly, just like Mohalu has done, has to come out and say, I want to be president, and do the necessary reach out and engagement that is necessary. No one area can make themselves president. You must be able to have a coalition all across Nigeria, and that is what the person needs to do.
Speaking of coalition and people coming out to this, there's talk. I mean, so let me start from here. The Constitution says that the political party must sponsor the candidate. That's what the Constitution says. So you have to come through a political party. You're not an independent candidate. And there are two major political parties. Yeah. It's almost a choice between two people, the APC and the PDP. A lot of governors are defecting. Southeastern governors are defecting and going to the APC because there's a talk about their bread being buttered there as regards Igbo presidency.
It doesn't matter.
The PDP,
they are the same
on the other hand,
PDP and APC,
has not been able to make a definitive statement on zoning and where it's going to go to. What are the talks going on in the PDP now as regards what will emerge or who will emerge? Does the PDP have it? Or like they said, they were going to leave it open? So, and what are the Igbo senators doing in the PDP to ensure that the PDP makes it come their way?
Well, we are talking to each other. We are doing our best. And don't forget that the Igbo senators were just 15. And we form a large bloc within the PDP caucus. And so we will continue to engage with our friends. The point really is no party has said anything about zoning. APC also has not. If, as you say, some people feel that their bread is going to be buttered there, good luck to them. Let them go and struggle for it. And we will all be part of helping them to be able to achieve their aim. Our own is simple. I'm in my party, and I will follow within the way that we do and conduct our business in our party to be able to reach a particular end. If that end is Igbo presidency, it will be very, very good for us.
Because a lot of people are saying time is running out. I mean, Yaya Bello has gone to meet Chief Ezeife to talk to him about his presidential ambition, and that it might not be correct, but the media started to report that Chief Ezeife has even endorsed Yaya Bello. So a lot of people are asking, when will the Igbos come out? Because time is running out. We're in 2021. Next year, it's going to be almost showtime.
Rufai, calm down.
I don't think time is running out. I think that there's still a lot of time to be able to get people on your side if you're a very serious politician. And everybody is free to go around. And there are some that are overt, and there are some that are covert. And you really have no idea what is going on. But I know that there are a lot of discussions going on.
Okay, well, I'm going to take that question from another angle, and it's about defection. The PDP has been witnessing a gale of defections from the party into the APC. You represent Abia South Senatorial District, and one of the next governors that people have been saying is likely to move from the People's Democratic Party to the APC is the governor of your state, Ikpeazu, Governor Ikpeazu Okezie. And some of these governors, once they move like that, they will come around and say, well, once the governor moves, that's where everybody will go. So are we likely to see a situation where the Senate minority leader before 2023 may also move from the PDP to the APC in order to perhaps, flow with the tide in his own state in case the governor moves in the other direction? And what is the PDP doing to stem this tide, this gale of defections?
I do not think that there is a gale of defections. What you're seeing actually is people readjusting themselves. As for Abia State, I have been in contact with the governor of Abia, and he has given me repeated assurances that all these are mere speculation, that is going nowhere. And I can tell you, on my own, I will go nowhere. Nothing will take me out of PDP. But this is what we see going on. What we see going on is that governors are being wooed by the APC, and they're being told that, oh, don't worry, whatever you want, we will be able to give you. And they go in, and then they now find that the ground is not as level as they thought. And we're having a situation where governors go and then have to try to compel others to follow them. I mean, we're just seeing it happening recently, and people have said, we're not going with you. So I think that there's too much pressure. There's a lot of intimidation going on. They are being told that, oh, don't worry, we will win election again, we will write results, whatever you want, you will do it. Of course, it's not going to happen. INEC just has continued, and then the Electoral Act is coming that we're going to modify all those things, all the lacuna that has always been in our electoral management system. And I think that going forward, votes will continue to count much more than before. And so anyone who is a politician who wants to be able, must be with his people, and you go where your people want you to go. I don't see anybody in Abia State wanting to go.
Well, I mean, you've been...
I don't even want to mention the party.
Anyway, Tondo asked you a question earlier.
I don't think that is necessary. I'm sorry.
Well, Tondo asked you a question earlier about persons from the Southeast who could possibly run for the presidency. Well, you've been deputy governor, You are a ranking member of the Senate, having been there since 2007. Are you yourself considering running for the presidency of Nigeria, possibly in the future, if you say you are not defecting from the party?
Do you want me to give you the typical Nigerian answer? I will go where God says I should go.
Or where your people ask you to go?
Or do you want me to say I will go where my people say I should go? But actually, in politics, you actually have to do what your people want. And that is the only thing that connects you to your people, and you don't depend on anybody else. And so, when the time comes, my political journey will be made very public. I will not hide behind a finger. I will not say, let me stay this way. I will say, this is where.
I think for me, that's a very good, fine place to leave it. Oh, I read some comments I can only laugh. Akomiri, you got to calm down, you and Ninas. If you have issue with Ninas, you contact Ninas. And he said, well, anything, you see, one thing we must learn as a people is whatever anybody is doing, let them do their, to the best of their ability. There is not only one way to kill a wrath. The way Nigeria is today, we do not have, there are multiple solutions if indeed the nation is serious. But many people would argue that anything that eventually, no matter how you look at it, anything that is short of, pushing back to the people to renew the social contract via referendum. Many of you who have read John Locke, in his writings on social contracts, and you understand better that, as we say in Igbo, ebu julona oba, meaning that for the bee to sting, it goes to the nest, takes some powers and does some stinging to you. At the end of the day, the people are the ones that own the power. They control the power. Whom they give the power is who that is going to use it, be that via election, via anything, But again, the people must keep on demanding, and that's what is expected, whether through whichever means, any group, any organization you belong, that the people must have the say. Even if it means you're getting a brand new constitution, you get a brand new constitution that is not subjected to the will of the people, that is referendum, it still end up being like the thing of the old, where the people have no say and they said nothing. Therefore, whatever is going to be done, whatever is going to be said, the people must have the final say. Once more, I thank you all for joining this conversation this evening. It has been a pleasure in the last 2 hours to have been with you analyzing these things as the event unfolds. So join me tomorrow. It's not going to be 6, it's not going to be 7. Join me tomorrow, 8 o'clock Nigerian time, for my Friday hangout. So Friday hangouts, make sure you come with your Feruz, those of you that drink malt, because I don't want anybody to consume any drink that will make the Holy Spirit to run away. Mazi cannot pursue Holy Spirit. If the Holy Spirit runs away after you've taken some drinks, I cannot pursue the Spirit. But at least I know that in my own, I can take the one that the spirit of the ancestors accept. I have my Udi up wine. Emi Sami says he owes me one, because the one he owed me last year, I think by the time I see Emi Sami, what he's going to give me in the Udi up wine might be up to 5 kegs. On that note, people, that's on a lighter note. you're going to join me tomorrow. I'm considering, based on the comments I've seen, I'm considering of doing something that is not political and something that might be, slightly different from what I do, which is something that I've gotten a couple of emails regarding this, has to do with the rights of women and has to do with equity within the Nigerian context, where people, when they lose their brothers or when they lose a family member, I've got about 2 emails where people say they've lost their dad and their brothers, or rather their uncles, are dragging in Nigerian context again the properties of their father, saying that they must have a share of that. It's a hangout. We might make it an open conversation where you might have to ring in to have your say. That is, again, if we are building something ground up, you own it. It is your platform. Therefore, if you approve, because you people are the Oga at the top, Amazi Ezoke is the Oga in the other room. So you are the Oga as a top. I am the Oga in the other room. On that note, I no lie. I am the Oga in the other room. You are the Oga as a top. So because you are the Oga as a top, I'm going to let you make that decision. I might allow you, or rather I will come back at the comment section and see what decision has been made. Thank you very much. Even Akumiri. Akumiri, please, you're talking about terrorists all the time. Now go catch them now and leave me alone. Am I going to be... I don't know what you want me to do. How much is a keg of palm wine? It depends. If you want the keg of palm wine without any water, you can get some for 5,000. You can get some for 4,000. Real one, and not all those saccharin butter. The ones they put in butter. So if you want to super chat it, that's fine for you. However you want to do it. Honestly, I appreciate you people. You don't know how I enjoy myself, speaking to everybody virtually, reading comment and laughing. You guys are so lovely. You guys are so lovely. I think one day we might have a Njenje party. Njenje party. Maybe we'll meet in Oka, or maybe we'll meet in Abokuta. I will do it in the 6th geopolitical zone. Now some people will say, no, it's not going to work. Maybe let's see how it's going to unfold. But I think one day we need to all come together to say that we've done a good job. Every one of you, irrespective of what your views are, you are indeed amazing, and I love every one of you. Thank you very much, especially our women folks, those that normally join me anytime I come online. I do not take these things for granted. Onyenimo is already saying that we should meet in Owerri. Ha! My leg no there Owerri. Don't you know what is happening in Owerri? I don't want to be please hold the fatty in London. How can I hold a fatty in London? Oh, thank you very much. Lord Michael, how much is the keg of palm wine? He's giving me a keg of palm wine already. Thank you very much through the super chat. So what's going to happen now? But that $5, you don't know that the money is useless now. $5 can't even buy a keg of palm wine. You know what? We are going to do the party. I'll allow everybody. We're going to make a choice. Where are we going to do the party? Let's bring our Fati, the one enjoying the Fati. The Fati he is enjoying.
All right.
Have
you voted?
I'm voted, yeah.
Okay,
I'm happy I'm voted, yeah.
Tell me your feeling after voting today.
Yeah, after voting, I'm feeling okay. What I want, I get it on the result. I'm getting the Fati I want is the one going on. Thank you for that.
What are you expecting from these people you voted?
I'm voted, they can do what you want, and then when they want, what they want, inshallah, will happiness more, isn't it? So then please, I want to beg them. We suffer almost 10 hours. We are standing because of what we want. We need change. And then the
you need.
Awesome. Did you decide ABC to say? Yeah. Huh? No. Where are you?
Yes.
Read ABC, Maya.
ABCD. So I think this fat Obi Ebuka, you must be a very wicked somebody. How can you say we should meet in Medugri? Kai Damboroba Sege. What's in Idego Madugri? You are quite army now for Madugri. Me? So why are you talking about Medugri? Guys, this party. Think about the location. So if the faithful in Spain, or the faithful in Singapore, or maybe the faithful in the United States of America, if they give me visa from Enugu to America, maybe they go from Amuahia to America. If it go, but Medugri, you never go Medugri, Medugri, I never die. Please. Waiting, he won't call me. Akoi Amaria in the other room, it go Medugri, you know, be better for us. So, people, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure. You guys must go to sleep. Go to sleep, because if the way they look on now, all of you now, I don't the baka. If I leave you now, I'm not go make I sleep. Even Yinka don't they laugh. Please, make una leave me. Anything that can keep me here. If they party. If they bring the party for $500, that one na party. But if you no bring a party, what need look at me, my kunu, it don't finish. You know what to me kunu, it don't finish. So make it a buy drink. If you buy drink, they talk to me for something where it go. Huh? Oh, I'm loving it. Oh. Thank you very much, Jerry Gochugu. Thank you. See, they say all work and no play makes Jack to be a dull person. we're just cracking. Baba, do we have carried entities here? Do we have carried entities here? No, we not get carried people here anyway. Don't worry. Get forward no. No, he never like a Colorado no. Colorado no is not good. If he want drink a Colorado no, he go liver. If he the permit after he don't go for 3 days, he never put on for freezer. When he go drink and me, I go understanding because you go sleep. You go sleep for 2 days. You don't go wake up. When you go wake up for 3 days, if you dey sleep on Wednesday, you dey wake up for Saturday. My eye dey clear if you don't drink that one. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Okay. It's been a pleasure to be your host in the last 2 hours plus. Join me tomorrow, 8 o'clock Nigerian time. Get your glass of wine. Make sure your internet data is loaded because you have to make that call and make your contribution and let the world hear your voice. I am still Mazes okay, and I'm signing out. Peace out. And I'll say good night to every one of you. I love you all. For the ladies, not the men, I say I blow you kiss. Mwah. The men, make una they go the other room, men make una they go the other room. Women, and they blow me kiss. Mwah. Mwah.